here. What the hell is going on with these multi-million pound houses being raffled off on social media? You, like me, have probably seen these ads and you've probably thought, is this whole thing a scam? Can you actually make any money from running a business like this? Well, you can. And in fact, Omaze, the company behind all these ads, is one of the fastest growing companies in Europe. And it's started by a canny entrepreneur called Matt, who's raised hundreds of millions of pounds worth of venture fund to get this business going. It's truly fascinating. I sit down with him for an hour fireside chat to discuss how he built this business and how did this bloke convince the Pope to raffle off a Lamborghini. It's truly amazing. Let's listen. Matt Pohlson, 47 years old, running at 2023, a £129 million revenue business here in the United Kingdom. In your own words, you said that you've grown faster in Europe than Netflix and Airbnb. The business is Omaze. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's fascinating, really, because I think there's lots of entrepreneurs and business owners that are going to be watching this and going, I've seen the ads. I've seen the ads. Instagram, Facebook, you can get this dream house, you buy the ticket, and you got a chance of winning. I checked online, it said 1 in 200 million chance of winning. Is that right? I don't think that's...
No, that's not right. 1 in 200 million?
Yeah, well...
Oh, no.
No, obviously, no. That's what it said.
No, you have a way better chance than that.
I had to check on AI.
Yeah.
How many winners are there each month?
One grand prize winner. One person wins a house every month. And then we have thousands of people who win gift cards and all that stuff. Then you have some people that win like £500,000. Or a car. So there's thousands of winners, but there's kind of one grand prize and then 3, let's call it like second tier prize.
Got it. Well, I think one of the first questions I think would be on the edge of someone's lips, knowing you, is how much money do you spend on Facebook, Meta, Google ads each month to drive this beast?
We don't disclose the exact numbers, but we invest.
No, just come on, tell
we
us.
Invest. It's a significant. We're one of the bigger advertisers in the UK.
More than £500,000 a month?
Yes.
More than $1 million?
Yes.
More than 2 million?
No.
So 1.5 million.
Yeah.
If you didn't spend on the ads, like how important is ads to the business?
I mean, 60% of our revenue is subscription.
So tell us, how does that work? So
you put in 10, 20, up to £50 a month. The higher you go, the more entries you get. You get entered into specific draws that are only for subscribers. And so a lot of our customers like that. They like the convenience. They like the fact that they have a better chance of winning.
So you've got people just subscribing to 10, 20, 40, £50 a month. And how often do they stay? Like, what's the churn rate?
They're really sticky. We care a lot about our customers having a good experience. What they tell us is they like that it's an entertainment experience. It's fun to dream about the house. So even if they don't win, they like to dream about what it would like to have this house in London or Mallorca or whatever it is. We also show them the impact. If they fund the London Air Ambulance, which will pick up 3,000 people a year in London to save their lives, they could be one of those people. Or if it funds Great Ormond Street Hospital, or if it funds a number of other things.
I know everyone wants to talk about their charity, given we've started our own charity, all of that. But fundamentally, how much is the drive because they want the house, and how much is the drive because they want to support the charity?
People come first and foremost for the house. That's just how our brains work.
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't want to give. People want to give. It's just getting their attention, right? And your brain goes to something that's going to make it survive and thrive. And when you see a house, that's like the ultimate example of that. So if you see that on Instagram or you see it on TV, it's going to get your attention. It's how your brain's set up.
Yeah.
Then you get excited about it, and then you feel good about the fact that you're helping somebody too. And so we embrace that. That's what our customers should be doing.
A couple of things here now. You just said about TV ads. Are you advertising on TV as well then?
We are.
What sort of TV? Streaming or like old-fashioned channel 1, 2, 3, 4?
Both.
And do you get a good return on TV?
We do. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, we could. The surprising thing is that 90-second TV ads are our best performing, which is, I would have bet a lot.
All right, I've got a really good question. If you had to choose between putting your pennies and pounds of marketing dollars or pounds into Facebook, Instagram, or TV, what would be your choice? And I'm giving you a binary option. You only have to choose one or the other.
If I could only choose one, I would do social.
Fine.
But it would be close. For a long time, TV was our number one channel. But the problem is TV without social doesn't work as well, right? What TV draws the awareness, and social then helps you get people
over
in.
the line.
Yeah.
Do you think it legitimizes a business being on TV?
100%. Yeah, only certain businesses can spend in that way. There's just something still about the size of the screen adds to the brain perception.
What about YouTube ads? Do you do YouTube ads?
We do. That's, a lot of TV is becoming YouTube these days. So we're investing there a lot too.
But when you put an ad on YouTube, do you think it has the back of mind thinking that this is legit like it does, say, if it was on ITV in the UK?
It depends on your viewing experience. Probably not. Like ITV has a brand that people trust. So if this comes in, they've been used to seeing John Lewis there or whatever, Tesco. But if they're now watching television via YouTube, like basically they're using YouTube to become their essentially cable bundle, and you're seeing it with the same size screen, it's going to start to feel like the same.
So £1.5 million spend on ads on social. Are you spending the same again on other, or are you including YouTube in your £1.5 million spend as well?
Yeah, I put YouTube in the social bucket. TV's in a different bucket.
What would you spend a month on TV ads?
It's a little less than that.
Only a little bit less. Yeah. So over $1 million on TV advertising.
Yeah.
And in 2025, you still think that that's a good investment of money?
Yeah, it is. I would have been surprised, but the numbers work. And we look at it as a performance channel, not a brand channel.
Do you feel like, because I think the ad paid for ad setting, because I don't know a company that starts, you're only 3 or 4 or 5 years old in this country.
Yeah.
Serious awareness by paid advertising. I can't think of another new start company like you that have properly gone to town on paid for ads. Yeah. You must be the record breaker.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I see your ads more than supermarkets.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if they have more frequency or if it's because a house is more memorable. So I think you probably remember our ads more than you remember a picture of an apple.
The presenters are good, when they walk around they really put you, this could be yours.
Yeah, they do great. That's Joe and Freya and Paul, and they're awesome.
So fascinating. I try to think here. So I'm just thinking about my business.
Yeah.
To sign the checks of that level of cash. Can you remember month one how much you put into ads?
Oh yeah, month one, 100,000.
Where did you get 100 grand to do that?
We had raised venture money.
And you go to these venture capital. I've raised some money. We're going to do 100 grand on ads in month one. Did you have any?
Well, we had a whole business. Yeah, because we had a whole business in the US, and so we had customers already in the UK. We had done celebrity. We had a finely tuned marketing, storytelling, acquisition machine that we built up over many years before we came here. So we started from zero here 4 years ago, but we had the celebrity experiences. Yeah, it wasn't houses, but it was cars, and it was riding a tank with Arnold Schwarzenegger and crush things, or win a Lamborghini where Pope Francis hands you the keys, or go on a double date with George and Amal in Lake Como.
So how did you get the head of the Catholic Church? How did you convince them to get him to hand keys to someone to win a Lamborghini? How do you even work out how to do that?
It's a crazy story. It's a couple minute story, but it's a good one. I can tell you that story. But it's a windy story. I ended up at the Vatican pitching him to do it, but the way I got there, the Pope. Yeah. I went there and we explained Omaze to him and got him on board.
How did you get to meet the Pope?
So it starts way far away. It started in California. There's this girl named Chloe, 14 years old, who was born with a club foot. And when she went to high school, a bunch of mean girls started picking on her. And one day, in front of the entire school, they pinned her down on the lunch tables. like a movie, like how you see in a movie, right? And 6 girls holding her down. One girl pulls off her shoe to show the whole school what her foot looks like. So she's traumatized. She goes home. She locks herself in her room. Her dad, his name is Dane. He doesn't know what to do. He's a huge U2 fan. And he shares with her some of his favorite songs. And she really latches onto this song called Invisible, which says, like, you can't see me, but I'm here. It's like a very anthemic song. Same time, he enters into an Omaze to meet Bono backstage to benefit Red, his charity, and he wins. So cut to a couple months later, I'm in a room smaller than this with Dane and Chloe, and we're waiting to meet Bono. And Chloe's on crutches, and she's like really down, but I don't know why. I don't know any of the story. And Bono comes in the room, and he's like just full of light, like the most charismatic person you've ever met. And he turns to Dane and he says, "Tell me your story." And he said, "Well, it's not about my story. It's about my daughter, Chloe's story. I'm your biggest fan. You know, your music is the soundtrack to my life, but this is about Chloe." And then he says, "Okay, well, what's your story, Chloe?" And she says, "I was assaulted, and your song Invisible helped me get through it." And he said, "You were insulted? Like they called you names?" She says, "No, I was assaulted." And she said it in a way that you could just tell in the room that something very serious had happened. Obviously, Bono's a very emotionally intelligent guy, so he picked up on that. He kind of took a breath, and he said, "How did Invisible help you?" And she said, "Well, it gave me the strength. It gave me the strength to stand up to these girls who did this to me. It gave me the strength to stand up to the school to make sure it doesn't happen again. It gave me the strength to not hurt myself." And he's like, "You know why you're able to do that, right?" He said, "Because the arc of the universe bends towards justice and love. And when you have right on your side, it's like a big fist, not to hurt people with, but to fight for what's right." And then he said, "What's your passion, Chloe?" She said, "Oh, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet." And he goes, "That's okay." He goes, "That's okay. We have a saying in our family. It's a prayer, but we're not a righteous family. We say this prayer at church, but we also say it in the pub. And the prayer is, I'm available for work." He says, "Make yourself available for work and your passion will be revealed to you." And I'm telling you, I have never seen a magic like this in a room. Obviously, Bono can say this much more poetically than I can
you've
say.
done a great job there.
Thank you.
I'm in.
Yeah. But the way he said it in the room, you could literally see this girl transforming before your eyes. You could see this like weight lifting off her. It was wild. She goes home.
And you're in the room.
I'm in the room. The room is smaller than this. I'm sitting right here with Bono. And she goes home and she starts telling the story to other girls. She tells them what Bono said to her. It resonates. More girls want to hear it because they've been bullied. More girls. Then a mom at another school hears about it, invites her to go to that school. Then another school, then another school. Then they said, okay, we should turn this into something. We'll call it Stand Beautiful. You know, it's resonating with people. Like, embrace your differences. She gets invited to do a TEDx talk. She does a TEDx talk. While at the talk, it's a publisher from Penguin Random House Books. She gets a book deal. She gets invited to all around the world to speak, and she's in Ghana. And she does this speech, and then at the end, this guy named Cardinal Turkson, who's the cardinal from Ghana, walks up to her and says, "That was an amazing story. Can you connect me with these Omaze people? I think I would want to do something with Pope Francis." So then Chloe reaches out and said, "Can I connect you with Pope Francis's team?" And I was like, what? Sure. So I get connected to Pope Francis's team. And they're like, "Hey, we'd love you to come to Rome. We'd love you to meet Pope Francis. Maybe there's something we can do." So I say, sure. And so in the time between that and me going to Rome, Lamborghini does an auction where they make a special car for Pope Francis and they auction it off. And some guy from the Czech Republic bids 765,000 euros, and then he reneges. And so then Lamborghini calls us and says, "Hey, this guy was going to pay 765,000 euros, but now he's not. Can you guys like take this car? Can you sell it to a high-end donor or something? And can you please like not tell the Vatican about this?" And I was like, "We're not going to not tell the Vatican. Like, not being upfront with the Vatican is not a good idea. But what we will do, I'll pitch Pope Francis and that if he gives away the keys, then we'll buy it from you and then we'll raffle it off in Omaze. And that's what happened.
Oh, wow. I mean, because it's a twist in the tail, that.
Yeah.
I get that. Because I think when you said, you can go drive in a tank with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, you can write the check. I'm sure you get anyone to do something to a certain degree, but the check.
No, they do it for free. They always do it for free. Arnold does it for his charity, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so you had proof of concept, raised the venture money. Now I want to ask, for every pound you bring in, is it 17.5% of that pound goes to charitable donations?
Mm-hmm.
Then a certain amount then goes to prize giving. Is that
The easiest way to think about it is a third, a third, a third.
Okay.
So a third goes to charity and VAT right off the top.
Yeah.
A third goes to prizing. So not only the house, but we cover all the taxes for the winner, the stamp duty. We give them the furniture. We give them 250,000 pounds to move in. And then there's all those other prizes that I mentioned. And then a third goes to marketing, operating expenses, and then our profit.
Absolutely. Do you ever get accused of ever rigging or anything like that? Is there lots of, because people must think, or is it impossible to win? Do you get that accusations come in?
That we're rigging the draw?
Yeah. Do you ever get that? Because
I don't think we get a lot of like, this isn't real. This must be a scam. We get a lot of people thinking that. We've had people who like posted about it being a scam and then won a house and their minds were changed.
Really?
I haven't heard the rigging accusation. We have that all third party done. So we don't have even any power to influence that. Like that's really important that that's done, outside of us.
And are you approving the checks to buy a £5 million house, to write the 250,000? Do you have a rigor over that as CEO?
We have a whole team who does. Like, I trust the team. We have great people like our CFO, Tim Stone, and our VP of Growth, Amit Lakhani, and Anushka Millard, who runs our houses, our VP of Property. They're all in charge. So I just see the houses once they get them.
Are you checking the bank account, seeing all the cash coming in? I mean, it's a big business. 4 or 5 years. What keeps you up at night? Is there anything that you're nervous about? Anything that worries you? Or are you like, yeah, this is great, I'm positive and no stresses?
I mean, every entrepreneur has stresses, of course.
What are yours?
I sleep well. I'm very grateful. Like we had so many times throughout the journey. Like I've been doing this for 13 years. We've only been in the UK for 4.5, but I've been on this journey for 13 years. There was 10 different times where we almost went out of business. So I know what those stresses feel like. I don't feel those stresses anymore. But we're expanding into a new market starting tomorrow. Like that's a whole new thing, right? Like we're starting from scratch with zero brand recognition. So that's like a whole new set of things that we have to sort out. We're going to invest a significant amount of money in that market. I want to make sure that the culture is the same no matter where you are in the world, whether you're in London or Berlin or Sydney or in Seoul, which, we eventually want to go to all these places. I care a lot about as this getting bigger, that we don't become corporate. Like, do we keep our virtues? We use virtues instead of values, because virtues are what you do and values are what you believe, and it doesn't matter what you believe, it matters what you do. So I care a lot about that. That's probably what I think about the most.
As a business owner, I've never thought or liked the idea of private equity, vulture, you call them vulture capitalists or venture capitalists. You've taken that in. Do you feel a sense of pressure to your investors to perform? Does that stress you out?
We have great investors. We really do. They've been really long-term in their thinking. They're certainly they're here to make money, so.
But I'm talking about on your shoulder, because you've got a big team, but you're the head of this, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly care about what they think, and I learn from them, and they do try to give feedback and push us.
What do you learn from them? How do they push you?
I've learned so much. I mean, when I've never had a real job before Omaze. I was a filmmaker. Like, I'd never even opened Excel. This was like my first real business. Like, I went to business school to learn for this, but so I knew nothing when I started, absolutely nothing. And so at the beginning, they've been with me. Some of our, Rick Heitzman of First Mark Capital has been with us. He invested in us 10 years ago, so what I knew then versus what I know now is a world differently. So then it was some of the basics. about like what great looks like from a team perspective, like what does great look like from a performance marketing and growth perspective, how should we think strategically about certain things, like taught me so much. But
do you ever get nervous going into a board meeting, or you think, no, this is great?
I like that. Cause it's an opportunity to like, I like the stress test. Like all growth comes from stress, right? And so I like bringing what we've done and learned and putting it forward. We run great meetings. We're very organized. Like we're very open. Like, so I like living that. And we get great feedback from them. Like, we've been one of this group's like shining star companies when we didn't used to be, so they've seen us change a lot.
Yeah. Interesting. What's the end game for Omaze, and crucially you? What does this look like in 5 years' time? Because most VCs, PEs, they're putting their money in, they want a return when they get out. Tell us about it.
So the long-term end game, or the long-term, I want to do this the rest of my life. Like, and I want Omaze to live forever.
So your end game is death.
My end game is I would say eternal life for this company. Obviously that's not a VC's end game. So within 15 years, we can be Fortune 500 impact number one, which means on the Fortune 500 list, that's $8 billion in revenue right now. We can get there. And impact number one means the number one source of charitable funds in the world outside of government. Right now, that's the Gates Foundation. But they'll be done giving within like 15 to 20 years. When they're done is when we can take over as number one. That'd be $4 billion a year. The math is on our side. If international expansion works the way we think it will, is all.
If you get kicked out, how would that feel? They say, well, I don't think this entrepreneur that's meeting the Pope, spending time with Bono, driving tanks with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we need a professional, and you can move side. How would that feel?
I'd feel terrible. But you know what? If it was the right thing for the business, I would do it. I work really hard to scale. Like you have to, it's a different skill set being a founder than it is a CEO. And you got to realize that. And they're not totally independent, but like you have to learn new things. I worked really hard to learn new things. I study great leaders. I feel, a couple of times in the journey, I tried to fire myself. I tried to get a replacement because I didn't think I was good enough for the job. I now think I am. And I think I can take this.
What's changed? Why are you good now? What compared to you 5 years ago?
There's a lot that has changed. I think what's the biggest change? The biggest change is that I've actually become a better friend to myself. And what that means is I've basically learned to like operate from a place of expansion rather than contraction, or you can call it, I know maybe this will sound woo-woo. I'm a California guy, to your listeners, but lead from a place of love versus fear. And what that means is you're smarter when you're in a place of relaxation, of expansion versus contraction. You can make the exact same decision from love and fear. I have fired people out of love for what this thing can do. I'm way less worried about what people think of me. Even though I care deeply about the team, but therefore, because like I am a better friend of myself, I used to beat the shit out of myself, like about everything, right? And like had that negative loop going of you're not good enough, you're not as good as this guy, you're not, all those things. I don't really do that anymore. And then therefore you make better decisions, you're smarter, and you don't worry about as much what people think, and therefore again you're making better decisions.
You get into work, what do you do for the business? Someone was watching, you go, oh, he's the man that makes the deals happen, or he's the man that recruits all the talent, or he's the man that drives the profit. What would someone see your role as?
My chief role is to be the man who sets up the conditions for other people to be the woman or the man that makes things happen. Like that.
How do you do that?
So like I care deeply about our people and our culture and how fast we learn. Like the number one thing a company can do to scale over time is to improve their learning cycles, right? So what's a learning cycle? A learning cycle is you put something out in the world, you get feedback on that thing from your customers, you then make adjustments to the thing based off your customer feedback, and then you put it back out, right? And like all of work is just a series of those things. And so if you're 10% faster at a learning cycle that you won't really tell the difference in 6 months or a year, but over like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like you're going to see a massive difference between you and what you would have been.
But you're spending all your hours each day doing stuff like that?
No, not all my hours, but I spend a lot of time about creating the system so that people are learning, they're taking information, I'm pushing them to up their game so that they learn faster.
How do you push them to up their game?
We don't shy away from feedback. I'll say, like, I know what you're capable of, and this is not your level. And this is what needs to change. And it needs to change by this amount of time. And like, I try to show them what great looks like. And so I'm trying to continually show them like where they can go.
Are you comfortable with awkward conversations?
Yes.
How many awkward conversations do you have a day or in a week?
A lot.
And
all feedback. No one likes feedback. Like, if anyone tells you like they're looking forward to giving or receiving feedback, I would be surprised. Sometimes you get really good feedback, but even then, it's like not a natural thing that humans like to do. But that comes back to me being like less fear-based than I used to be.
What's your view on working from home?
I think we do 3 days a week.
Why not 5?
What?
Why not 5?
Because I think the flexibility of that is good. It enables you to get some talent that's like outside of the city, which can be good. We went remote obviously during COVID, and then we worked our way back, and like 3 works. So there's a lot of people in here 5, but 3 is working for us. I think in general you get much more done together than you do remote. But I don't. But sometimes it's easier to get like thinking work done remote, like because you just get interrupted a lot. So if you have something where you can't take a lot of context shifting, like there is a value in being remote.
Do you see that 3 going to 4 days as time goes on?
I'm happy with 3. It's working. I feel like we're growing well. We're getting shit done.
Let's look at, so you're CEO and you have some lieutenants around you. What does that senior leadership team look like? Who are the people that you need around you to run a £150 million plus company that's going to be an £8 billion company in the next 8 years, I think you said.
15 years.
15 years.
So we have a president. His name is James Oakes. He was the first managing director in the UK. So he helped kind of, as we transition from the celebrity business to the house business, like he and I worked very closely together to kind of create what that even looked like and what that model looked like. And he's a superstar. He still runs the UK, but then we'll start to have our new markets reporting into him as well as product and tech. We have a CFO. His name's Tim Stone. He was
just pausing on that. What's the difference between a CEO and president, in your opinion?
Depends on the company.
Your company.
In our company. So he is in charge of new markets, product and tech. I have finance, marketing, brand, people, legal.
So the president's doing more business development, growth stuff.
Yeah, he's focused on go to market, and I'm focused on kind of people, brand, like finance, like.
But he reports into you.
He reports into me. Our chief financial officer, his name's Tim Stone. He joined at Amazon number 200 when it was 150 million in revenue.
So he worked for Jeff.
What's that? You were very close with Jeff, and he left when it was 280 billion in revenue. He was there 21 years. So like he saw the like real ride.
Well, I've been watching Jeff in some interviews on YouTube, but the man is a genius, really.
Oh, no question.
But like literally a unicorn, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. We have a VP of growth, which is in charge of performance marketing, analytics, new market development. And then that's our exec team right now. And then we have a leadership team that has a VP of marketing named Mike Longden, VP of property and partnerships, whose job it is to go out and find the houses, and do the partnerships with the charities. A VP of product named Rob Griggs.
And so how many people in the organization now?
We have full time. We're at like 81, so it's pretty lean for our revenue.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
well, you got massive high revenue per employee.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I mean, are you sort of? I won't say, but can you give us a sort of steer of what sort of revenues you hope to do in the next couple of years?
We've grown a lot from the numbers that you shared.
Okay. But I think it's safe to say we've got definitely over 1.5 million of revenue per employee. There's not many companies doing that, is there?
Yes. Yes, we're well over that. Yeah.
I think you should be very proud of that.
We are.
I mean, that's close to unicorn status, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we spoke about your exec team there. I think one of my questions, I met someone that built Richard Harpin built HomeServe in the UK to 4.1 billion of revenue. And the question I asked him, and any chance that I get to meet people like you, is what do you look for in your executive team, your senior leadership team, people that can make decisions? So you do the interviews, with these people, you're headhunting these people. What are you looking for in their traits, habits, philosophies?
Yeah, I mean, we have our virtues, and so we do look for the behaviors that show that they will live those virtues, which is how you behave every day at Omaze, and they're very specific. And then we look at their core skill set, of that actual role.
So let me give it. So if you're looking for CFO,
yes,
answer me that.
So what we look for everybody as a starting point is that they take their work seriously, but not themselves. They have to be able to laugh at themselves. High ego does not work for us.
Yeah.
And laughter creates resilience. Laughter is a strategy for us, both from a culture perspective and a marketing perspective. We wouldn't be here if we didn't create really funny videos at the beginning. So that's a really key thing, is underrated. Think the importance of that, both in your culture, but also in your product and your marketing. It's a neurological shortcut to connection. Right. And so someone's got it. They don't have to be funny, but they have to be able to they can't take themselves seriously. So that's number one. Number two, someone who is obsessive. They want this so bad you can taste it. Tim is that way, right? He's just he would run through that window right there to get stuff done. Right. And it's fun to be around that. It's fun. It doesn't mean you can't have
it's infectious.
It's infectious. It doesn't mean you can't have a work-life, balance or anything like that. It just means that when you're here, you're I am here to make stuff happen. Someone who has demonstrated capacity to learn quickly. We're a really weird business. So a lot of people, I made a lot of mistakes on hiring in the beginning where we'd hire these big names from a big company and they come in, they just couldn't hang. One of our board members said, there's people, if they grew up fighting when they were bigger than everyone else, it's really hard for them to fight when they're smaller than the other person. And so there's a scrappiness that they don't have. So we look for that. And then we look for someone who cares deeply about making their teammates better. Not just by being supportive, but they're willing to challenge and say, okay.
So on that CFO, you didn't actually say that they've got the skills to be a CFO.
So we have all that. He's got, we needed someone who, could he was first CFO of AWS. He was CFO of Snap, CFO of Ford. So he knows what scale. He's got the network to help us with equity raises, debt, any kind of international expansion, infrastructure. But he also understands operations. He's a real deal guy.
I think it'd be really, just said a few things that I just want to pick up on. So if you want to go and raise 10 million quid, he's doing that. You're not getting involved. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'll be involved. But I've raised a lot for us through the years.
What's the most you've raised without having a CFO in your own personal capacity?
I raised our last round, which was in 2021. That was an 85 million round.
That's a little mic drop moment there. So you raised 85 million pounds and
dollars.
Yeah, right. Well, okay.
There's a difference now.
It's still a significant amount of change. Raised 85. What was that like? Stressful to do that, or you found it a walk in the park?
It's stressful. Fundraising is really hard because it can feel existential. Now that round was less stressful to me than our Series A because we almost ran out of cash before our Series A.
Why did you run out of cash nearly?
Because the business wasn't working in the beginning.
Why?
When we were started with celebrity experiences, but we didn't have very good celebrities. So, so our first our first experience was to be a guest judge on a show called Cupcake Wars, and it raised $784, and we spent like 6 months on it. We raised $784 in like a minute right now. So
So I think people would be interested in this. So that didn't work. Did you have moments where I'm just going to give up, this doesn't work, the model isn't good, this business model doesn't work? How did you tweak it to turn it around? What was the aha moments?
I always irrationally believed, but like there was only 4 of us on the team, me, my co-founder, and then our guy who basically did finance, analytics, and engineering, and like an intern. And the finance guy was like, this model will never work. And I said, I disagree. And we went through all these assumptions. He's like, none of these assumptions can make this ever work. And I was like,
well, because he didn't believe the theory that people would pay like a raffle.
I was like, what we disagreed on. I was like, there could be an outstanding outsized success with like a huge fan base with a lot of passion. And I was like, and social media is coming. Like celebrities were just starting to be on there. So I was like, we're not truly waiting the power of that. Like, I was like, that's going to unlock, like this was before you had to pay to charge on social, right? This is when you could just post and reach your whole fan base. And so that was our debate. And it looked like he was right till we had like a month left of cash. And then we got Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad changed the business.
So what sort of cash did the Breaking Bad deal bring in compared to $784 on cupcakes?
Breaking Bad did 1.7 million.
In a 6-month period?
In like a 6-week period.
So you went from $784 on winning a cupcake.
That was our very first one. We did, so we went like another year. Our best performing experience before Breaking Bad was 18,000.
Yeah, sorry. Matt, but I'm trying to get into how did that happen?
Yeah, so the way that happened was, so we're doing a series of them. We're learning new things. We're learning how to, create better social ads. Like we're experiencing new formats. You may have seen like people holding signs that say, do this thing on social media. Like we were the first ones to do that. I know it sounds like silly obvious.
The cardboard thing?
Yeah, exactly.
New York City, yeah.
Yeah. We were like, enter to meet me, like that. We were the very first people to do that. And what we could do that is we'd make it blank, and then we could put in tested a bunch of different copy on social that would work, And so that was like our initial insight. It was like, okay, that started to get a little bit better. And then we saw, we started to get better at telling what people's social channels actually had real followers and engagement, which wasn't as obvious back then either. And then from our analysis and worked back, we're like, okay, Breaking Bad is the type we're talking about. Like these guys have their follower base isn't that high, but their engagement is through the roof. It was a huge show back in the day it was ending. And so we're like, if we can get this, then like all these metrics can be flipped.
But you said something there. If we can get this.
Yes.
Now, I understand how you managed to get a cupcake competition. That's no beer. Breaking Bad, arguably one of the best TV programs ever made.
Yeah.
How did you get to talk to the right individual?
Hustle, man. I mean, we're hustlers. Like we basically found this woman who was representing Bryan Cranston's charity. And we had gone to them and said, look, you've been doing these old auctions. They were going to offer going to Winnebago with him and Aaron in an auction. And we said, and it was going to raise like 40,000. We're like, we think we can raise more than that based off these numbers. And she was innovative. And so she got us the meeting with Bryan, and then we convinced Bryan to do it. And then another company came in and they launched a thing with Jamie, what's the chef's name from here? Jamie Oliver. And they raised 150,000 with him. And so then we got a call from a woman saying, hey, sorry, but Bryan's going to the other company. And so then I was like, no, like our whole, like, this is it. This is our whole business is on it. Like
the answer can't be no.
Yeah, no, I was like, no. And I was like, I gotta meet him. You gotta get, like, I talked to him on the phone, but I was like, you gotta let me like talk to him. And she's like, he's like leaving to do a play on Monday, and he's at a charity event tomorrow. And I was like, where's the charity event? And I got her to tell me where the charity event was. So we went and snuck into the charity event.
This is these are the big lads. You are not going to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
This is proper.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to tell those stories, because I think a lot of people think you create your own luck, don't you?
You do, 100%. You know, the key is like never take a no from someone who can't say yes.
You're persistent.
Yeah.
Persistent. These regular habits that we see with entrepreneurs and business owners that we meet, the successful ones are just so persistent.
You're just a boxer taking punches. And like, but if you keep getting up every round, like eventually you're going to get there. You know, I know. So there's some businesses that should go out, go out of business. Like, but you could have made that. You would have rationally made that argument for us, like for sure.
You got 8 to 1 people working in your organization right now. You're going to have a few hundred, obviously, as time goes on. You look at those people and you look at people around you. Do you think you think differently to most people? Do you think you are just a little bit strange compared to everyone else?
I definitely am strange. But we hire for this kind of strangeness into Omaze. You know,
I don't think there's not many people go, I'm going to go to that play in that other city to convince this person. You know, that's another level of strange, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would agree. Like, it's a level of intensity and persistence. But I've seen people here do extraordinary things, like that level of stuff to figure stuff out, right? Because we also what my persistence came from feeling like I was part of something bigger than me. Like humans have capacity to do extraordinary things only when they think they're doing it for somebody else. Like no one ever lifts a car to to pick up their watch. You know, like you lift a car to save a person. Like our default is actually compassion for others. We forget that because of all the news stories out there. But so we here, you're working hard for both, right? Like we think it's a false choice that you choose between making a lot of money and helping a lot of people. Like we've been told you can only do one or the other, and we don't agree with that. And so we have people here who care about making money, care about creating economic opportunity for their family, but they also care about helping others.
Do you like money?
I do.
What do you spend money on?
I don't spend a lot of money on stuff. I don't have, I have a normal watch. I don't even have a car. But I like spending money on experiences. I like doing things for my family. I'm going to want a great Omaze style house one day myself.
Can I ask you a question? You spoke about work-life balance with your team earlier. Do you think Matt Pohlson, has a work-life balance?
No. Well, I don't even really like that term. I know I said it, but it's like, I don't even know what that means. Like, entrepreneurship requires extraordinary effort.
Do you think it requires extraordinary sacrifice?
Yes.
What are those sacrifices, in your opinion?
I mean, it's different for every person. And it also depends on how much
what
you want to do. I think I've sacrificed, I'm single. I'm 47 years old. I'm single. I would like one day to have a family. I will do that one day. That has not happened yet. There's other people who have much bigger jobs than me that are able to balance the two. It's just not me.
So one day you're going to have a liquidity event or a wealth creation day. I'm obviously quite a wealthy man now, but on paper. But one day you'll IPO, float, you'll sell some shares, and I'm sure you're going to have a big chunk of change in the bank. What are you going to do with that?
I really haven't thought about that.
You said you're going to buy a nice Omaze.
I love it. I care a lot about a house. I would love to have a house that I can help build and is a place to host people, and that matters a lot to me, being able to do all that. I will continue to support causes that I care about. I mean, we've given, all time, Omaze has given $300 million to charity. I feel very good about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'll try to spread love and optimism with that money. Money's just like energy, right? Once you get past a certain level, it doesn't really bring you any more happiness. I have a lot of friends who I've seen go from no money to billionaires, and they're not for the most part, I would say it's been more of a force of stress than like comfort. Like now I disagree when people say money can't buy happiness. I think it does at a certain level, creates a lot of comfort and takes some existential stresses for people. But like, it's definitely also adds stresses to people.
Yeah, you got to manage it.
Yeah.
Wealth management can be very stressful for lots of people.
Yeah, they end up spending a lot of their life. They make all this money and they spend a lot of their life thinking about that money.
Or worrying about it
going away, or, it's like the whole point of it is the freedom. A lot of these guys make fuck you money, but they never say fuck you.
That's very true. What is the difference between gambling and a prize draw? What is Omaze?
Omaze is a prize draw.
And do you know what the difference is? I don't.
I do. So in gambling, you have to basically, it's a game of chance. There's a prize of value, and then there's consideration where you have to pay to enter. You don't have to pay to enter Omaze. You can send in a postcard and you can enter Omaze for free.
People do that?
They do, yeah.
Has anyone won anything by doing the postcard?
I don't think so. But you can.
So it's a little bit like on TV where they, like Good Morning Britain gives away a car or something, and you have to answer a simple question, and you can then send in a postcard for that as well. So it's
like no purchase necessary, like McDonald's Monopoly, or like Labour and the Tory Party do it. ITV does it.
Yeah.
It's pretty common.
So just rewinding slightly back. So you have a liquidity event. Would you invest one day once you've got lots of cash around you through an IPO or something like that? Would you invest in other entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. I've done that already. And I would continue to do that.
What's the most you've invested in someone?
I'm not going to share that, but not a lot.
What do you look for in the entrepreneurs that you invest in?
Number one I look for is grit. Yeah. Like, are they going to run through walls to get this thing done? Are they resilient? Do they have that? You can see that in someone's eyes, and you can look at their behavior. Two, I think the most underrated skill in entrepreneurship, and the most important skill in entrepreneurship, is storytelling.
It's funny that you say that, because I was going to sort of round off the podcast on that. Really sort of now spending a bit of time with you, I think your skill set is you're a marketeer and a storyteller, and I was going to say that is probably your natural superpower, is it?
I care a lot about storytelling. I was a filmmaker before Omaze, so I've studied it, and we teach classes at Omaze to everybody on storytelling. So yeah, I would say that's definitely a strength of mine.
I'll ask you some things. Would you invest in property or stocks and shares?
I'm invested in both. Obviously, it's good to diversify. I heard someone say once, would you rather invest in the high growth company or the building the high growth company is in?
And the answer is?
The high growth company.
Okay.
But that's not always the case. You obviously want to diversify, and it depends. So I would say I'm diversified.
You've built a business in America.
Yeah.
And you've now built a very big business in the UK.
Uh-huh.
Which country, in your opinion, is the one that looks after and helps entrepreneurs the most, and why?
The common answer is that it's the US, and the data would suggest that too. I think there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs in the UK. Mm-hmm. You got great schools, you've got a big immigrant populations, and I think that helps. There's a lot more risk capital in the US, and that helps a lot of people.
But why did you get this going over here, and why not stay in the US?
Because we tested the houses here, and the houses took off in a crazy way.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's a data-driven.
Yeah. We hadn't launched the houses in the US. We launched the houses. We thought we had a good size. We were roughly a 100 million business in the US with celebrities in the cars and stuff like that. And then
And that's all stopped now.
Yes, because what happened was that was going, and then we launched the houses. We always believed that would be the best thing, but we didn't have the money to buy houses for a long time. And then we thought that's, a car changes someone's lifestyle, a house changes someone's life. Yeah. And we have such like an emotional connection to our home. And so we wanted to launch it in the UK because we had that business in the US, but also it's a smaller country, so the houses would be more relevant. We had James, who's a great operator here. The houses are less expensive outside of London. And so we launched it here, and it just like caught fire immediately. And so it became very clear that we should be just doing houses. And then I had the decision of, okay, do we do it in the UK and the US at the same time? And we have to buy 7 to 8 houses out in front in order to be able to have the houses ready every single month, right? So that's, call it $50 million of houses that we are holding on our balance sheet. And that was a lot to be able to do that in both markets. And I just said, we're going to focus. Focus is the price of greatness. Like we'll make this big in the UK, we'll get profitable, and then we'll go back to the US.
It's really interesting. I'm thinking about your business model. One of my favorite businesses is Costco. They've got such
it's amazing business,
fantastic cash flow. So they basically sell all their stock before they have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So they're selling their stock around 12.4 times a year. And so Walmart, something like that, would be 8 times a year. So they're always holding inventory that they've got to pay for on the delivery, blah, blah, blah. Thinking about your cash flow model, you've got all these subscribers. Now you're getting loads of cash in before you have to buy the houses now. So you're in a really good cash flow position. And you've done that in just to shake over 4 years, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think traditionally businesses takes 10, 15 years before they go, cash is really good now. I mean, in the UK, it's only 5% of businesses get past their 10-year anniversary. I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's just interesting. What frustrates you? What frustrates you about being an entrepreneur in the UK from the zeitgeist of the economy, government? Or do you not think there is any frustrations? There's happy-go-lucky.
I really enjoy being here, and again, I think there's a lot of really great talent. Like in my building, have you ever heard of Wave, the autonomous driving company? Like,
no.
This guy named Alex Kendall is an amazing entrepreneur. Like, the founders of Calm. Like, I've met all these like great founders. I'm like, oh, these guys are amazing. And so I think there's a real ecosystem here. I wish there was more risk capital. Like, I wish it was easier for people to get funded at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to find people. Like there's a certain mindset in the US where you're, for better or worse, you're taught like you can do anything, right? Like there is no limit. And I think that is less part of the culture in the UK. Now the type of people that we're attracting, I think, have that mindset. So it is still in the UK for sure. We have people from all over the world, which I think also is really great. I think the fact that you have a more diverse population leads to better ideas. And so you've got this mindset in the US of like, I can do anything. And also there's money for me to do anything. And the UK, there's less of that money, but you have the diversity and you have the great schools. So it's like it's a trick. The other thing though, the US has too, is like, you also start with a way bigger market, right? Like sometimes we as we as Americans, like to use a baseball term, like, we started on third base and think we had a triple. Like it's much easier to market a product to 50 states that speak the same language and are essentially the same culturally than it is to like sell it into the Netherlands and into Belgium and into France, So that's also like a huge
Do you think
factor.
the zeitgeist that there is a politics of envy in this country?
I keep hearing that. Like, I don't experience that. Like, I hear the tall poppy syndrome and all that stuff. Like, it's just not my experience.
But is that because, do you think you just block those people out and just won't hang around them? That you're only around positivity?
I could be just like an obtuse American, that like kind of goes through his day and is like talking to everybody on the tube. And, like, I could just
do you
be
block
like
out negative people?
Not intentionally. I don't tend to attract negative people. I definitely like, if I meet like we don't allow them into Omaze. If we discover someone is negative in Omaze, they're gone very quickly. And so like life is just too short. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be skeptical. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be pessimistic about some things, but you got to be long-term optimistic.
Do you think the tax system in the UK is fair?
I'm not an expert enough to know. I mean, I was paying more in California than I'm paying here. I think there's a lot that can be done
Not
for the
so much
growth.
personally, but for the business. I mean, I think VAT is disgustingly high.
It is.
I hate turnover taxes. I think you should be taxed on profit, not revenue.
I would agree on that.
Because I think that kills lots of startups. They're paying tax before they've made anything themselves.
I think there's a lot of things that can be done to encourage growth here that are not being done.
What would they be?
I think that's a good example. I think there's other incentives around investing that would be good examples. I think the universities can do a much better job of supporting commercialization of all the great ideas that are coming out of Oxford and Cambridge. It's really hard then for the entrepreneurs to then go turn those into businesses. I think there's a lot of other stuff. I don't want to get into politics, but I think there's a lot of other obvious things that would inspire growth here.
I think a lot of people come here, to get a business. Why does we have to pay so much business rates? The employer's national insurance contributions, and that stops that entrepreneur employing that next person because they're so worried about all these turnover taxes that it just stops them taking the next risk. And I really worry about that for us as a UK economy, and I think it needs to be sorted out.
I mean, small businesses are the engine of growth in every country. And so I think every country, you see in the US, like California has become a really difficult place to do business. So a lot of people are going to Texas or to Florida as a result of that.
And the world is becoming a smaller place every year.
Yeah, and it's easy for people to move, So I think it's really in a nation's interest to incentivize entrepreneurs, small businesses, to give them as much as they can to get going and to create jobs. Now, I don't know the intricacies of the system here enough to comment on what exactly should change or not, but if I was in the government, I would be constantly thinking about that.
No, I don't think they are. Well, that's a big challenge. Matt, anything else that you'd like to say? Can people follow you anywhere or?
Yeah, I'm on Matt Pohlson, Pohlson on Instagram and on LinkedIn. Those are I'm not on X.
No. Did you think this conversation was going to go like this with me? Because you didn't really know who I was before we came into this. So I didn't really know who you was.
Yeah. We kind of...
So we're virgins to each other. So interesting. And I think it's been fascinating. If we had more time, I'd love to know all these celebrities that you've met. Who's the most interesting person you've met?
Oh, wow.
And you've come away thinking, wow, what a guy, what a gal.
I've had that experience a lot. Matt Damon is awesome.
No, come on. Have you really met him?
Oh, yeah. We did 11 campaigns with him.
Have you met my ex-girlfriend, Taylor Swift?
I have met Taylor Swift.
You haven't.
I have. She's
the best entrepreneur.
She might be the best CEO in America. She's amazing. I mean, she's all...
What was it like meeting her?
She was great. She was down to earth.
How long ago?
I met her a while ago. I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago was the first time I met her.
Did she have an aura about her that...
She's tall, so she's got like a presence.
Yeah.
She's very present, but she didn't have an aura. I've never met anybody with an aura. I think an aura is created by there's some people that have a certain just like charisma that just kind of exudes.
Thinking about it, I think of her as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our
100%.
time. The persistence of the woman. She's got all of her music back now, hasn't she?
The persistence, the strategic, storytelling, understanding your customer, understanding your fan. I think she is like the ultimate, she cares so deeply about her fan base, and she learns from them and she reacts to them, and we have a one of our storytelling pillars is make the customer the hero. Right? Too many brands make themselves the hero. Yeah. Too many musicians make themselves the hero. Taylor makes her fans the hero.
Yeah. So you're a Swiftie?
I'm not like a huge fan of the music. I am a Swiftie in like what she represents as a person and what she's done. I think is remarkable.
So Matt Damon, Bono, Taylor Swift, and Arnie. Met Arnie.
Arnie's amazing. Yeah. Arnie's.
He's got some energy. That
guy's.
Have you watched his Netflix documentary?
I have. No. You know the stuff in the tank in his documentary. Yeah. That we did that. He. I'll tell you a quick Arnie story. So the whole thing was riding into the tank with Arnold Schwarzenegger and crush things, and it was his tank. He owns a tank. It's a tank that he.
Of course, he owns a tank.
Yeah.
Oh, of course he does.
So the way, one day I got a call saying Arnie wants to meet with you right now. I was driving home, and he wants to do an experience, and I was like, okay. So I get there, and they're like, all right, what's your idea for the experience? And I was like, I just got a call 7 minutes ago. I happened to be by his office, and I'm looking around, and there's a picture of him with his tank, and I was like, what's up with the tank? And they're like, yeah, it's Arnold's tank. He drove in the Austrian army. Colin Powell helped him get it. And I was like, where is it? And they're like, it's an hour away. I'm like, can we ride in that? And they're like, yeah. I was like, great, that's our idea. We'll ride in the tank and crush things with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so then we went to film like what that would look like, show him crushing different things, and just say, hey, in the video, he's like, we'll crush a car. We'll crush $1 Million Baby because it made me cry.
You're about to do an impression of him.
No, I can't. I can't. Anyway, so that was the idea. So we're like, okay, we need Arnold to ride in the tank for like 30 minutes, and we can get all the establishing, and then someone else can drive the tank, and we can get the videos of them crushing things for the next 6 hours. So we get the establishing of him in the tank, and then I text the guys in the tank next to him and say, hey, you can tell Arnie that we're good. He can go home. And he writes back and he says, Arnold says he likes crushing things. And so he just stayed and drove around for another 4 hours.
Wow. Matt, you must be, are you proud of what you've done?
I am.
It's really an amazing story. And you've got into the zeitgeist of the UK population in just 48 months, really. That's what's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has been, we've been very lucky. Like a lot of that is timing. A lot of that is hard work. I mean, there's so much stuff that I've done. Like, there's so many years of this journey where I felt like I had no idea what I was doing, where I was really scared, where I would look at people that had succeeded and think like, why don't I have what they have? So. And so I feel proud that like,
are you ahead of them now, do you think, though?
I don't know about that, but I just feel proud that we've harnessed the lessons, and that we've stayed on.
Well, just actually, one of the questions I didn't ask, what initially gave you the idea of becoming a prize-giving company? What sort of was the aha moment there?
So I was a filmmaker doing cause content, doing these huge documentaries and concerts with like really fancy people from Bono and Beyonce and Oprah and all.
You met Beyonce as well, have you?
Yeah, and
Oprah.
Yeah.
Hey, you've met some people, haven't you?
I have. They're just people, though. Like they've got crazy jobs, but they're just people. But anyway, we were doing that, but we were creating a lot of awareness, but not a lot of impact. And then I went to business school, and when I was in school, I went to this event that Magic Johnson, the basketball player, was hosting.
Yeah.
Where he was auctioning off the chance to play basketball with him and go to a Lakers game, but it was only available to the high net worth individuals in the room. And me and my buddy were in the room, but not high net worth individuals. Like we got invited last minute to fill the table. And so we sat and we watched as the auction went up to 15,000. Magic was our childhood hero. Like there's nothing that I would rather do than play basketball with Magic, even today.
Yeah.
And so, but we couldn't afford to participate, So when we were driving home, we said that makes no sense. Magic has fans around the world, not just in that room. And the people who can afford to be in the room probably care a lot more about meeting him than those who can. You've probably been to a lot of these rubber chicken dinners. And we said celebrities were not really on social media then, but they're gonna be, and they're gonna be able to reach their fans in a whole new way. So if we can make it so anybody can donate $10 for the chance to win, you could raise so much more money, so much more awareness.
And can you remember, so your first ever prize-giving thing, do you remember what you got in tickets?
The Cupcake Wars?
That was the first one?
That was the first one.
Wow.
So we sold 78 tickets. No. Yeah, 78 tickets.
Using organic reach, or was there paid ads on that as well?
No paid ads. We didn't do paid ads for the first 5 years, because you could just put out stuff on
it would
social.
reach.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have any, once we got like Brian and Aaron, then after that we got Star Wars. Like you got to, like when Star Wars came back and it was a big deal, you got to be in Star Wars in the cantina scene. And that was like, that put us on a map in a huge way.
Oh. Matt, great to meet you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. That was fun.